Your grandmother threw away more money than most people make in groceries, but she had no idea these kitchen scraps were pure gold. Your grandmother probably threw away more future meals than she ever realized. That celery base you toss after chopping, it could feed you again in 2 weeks. The green onion roots heading for the garbage disposal, they're basically money you're flushing away. Most vegetables are desperate to keep growing. They don't just give up because you chop them. Plants have this incredible survival instinct built right into their cellular structure. Cut a piece off, and the remaining parts immediately start working to regenerate what they lost. It's like they refuse to admit defeat. Here's what nobody tells you about kitchen scraps. They're already programmed to regrow. Roots contain growth hormones. Stems hold dormant buds. Even seemingly dead vegetable bases have living cells just waiting for the right conditions. Water and sunlight trigger these sleeping systems back to life faster than you'd expect. The process works because plants store energy in unexpected places. That boring-looking onion base you usually discard, it's packed with nutrients and growth compounds. The thick bottom of romaine lettuce contains enough stored energy to push out entirely new leaves. These aren't magic tricks. They're basic plant biology working in your favor. Then there's the speed factor that catches most people off guard. Some vegetables start showing new growth within 48 hours of hitting water. Green onions shoot up so fast you can practically watch them grow. Others take their sweet time, but even slow growers like potatoes will surprise you with how quickly they develop root systems once planted. Water alone kickstarts most regrowth projects. No fancy equipment needed, no special fertilizers required initially. Just clean water changed every few days and decent light from a kitchen window. The vegetables do the heavy lifting themselves using their stored energy reserves. But here's where it gets interesting. Soil changes everything. Water gets plants started, but soil transforms them into serious food producers. Root systems explode in rich, moist soil. Growth rates double. Vegetables that seemed content producing a few leaves suddenly start pushing out harvest-worthy portions again. The timing varies wildly depending on what you're growing. Leafy vegetables move fast because leaves require less energy than developing new root vegetables underground. A regrown lettuce might give you salad material in 7 days. Root vegetables like carrots focus their energy differently. You won't get new carrots, but those green tops make excellent eating and show up surprisingly quickly. While some vegetables are natural overachievers in the regrowth game, they practically regrow themselves with minimal effort from you. Others require more patience but reward you with harvests that keep coming for months. The trick is knowing which scraps to save and which techniques work fastest. Most people start with the obvious choices and miss some incredible opportunities hiding in their vegetable drawer. Before you master the science, though, you need to know which vegetables practically guarantee success for beginners. Green onions are basically the golden retrievers of the vegetable world, loyal, easy to please, and they'll come back to you no matter what. Drop those white root ends in a glass of water, and boom. 7 days later, you've got fresh green shoots ready for your next stir-fry. The trick? Change the water every couple days. Nobody likes sitting in stale water, including your future scallions. But here's where it gets interesting. Celery pulls off something that seems almost magical. You know that chunky white base you usually toss? That's pure gold. Place it in a shallow dish with just enough water to cover the bottom and watch new stalks push up from the center like tiny green soldiers. The outer stalks might look a bit rough around the edges, but those inner shoots, fresh as the day you bought it. Romaine lettuce does something similar, except faster. Way faster. Cut about 2 inches from the bottom of the head, stick it in water, and new leaves start popping within days. Makes sense, right? The plant's basically saying, "Oh, you thought you were done with me?" Then there's the potato situation. Those little eyes that sprout in your pantry aren't trying to creep you out, they're practically begging to become new plants. Cut a potato into chunks, making sure each piece has at least one eye, let them dry for a day, then plant them. One potato can easily give you 5 or 6 new plants. And the weird part is, each plant can produce up to 10 new potatoes. Lemongrass might be the most underestimated player here. Those thick woody stalks that seem too tough to do anything with, pure potential. Place the bulbous ends in water and roots appear faster than you'd expect. Once you've got a decent root system going, transplant to soil, and you've got an endless supply of this citrusy herb that costs a fortune at specialty stores. let's not forget the psychology behind all this. There's something deeply satisfying about rescuing food scraps from the trash and turning them into actual meals again. It's like being a vegetable whisperer, except way less weird than it sounds. The beauty of these beginner-friendly vegetables lies in their forgiveness. Miss a day of changing the water? They'll probably survive. Forget to trim the growing shoots? No big deal. These plants evolved to be resilient, which means your learning curve can be as gentle as you need it to be. Well, here's the thing about starting with these easy wins: success breeds curiosity. Once you've mastered the basics and your windowsill looks like a mini farm, you'll start eyeing other kitchen scraps differently. That piece of ginger sitting in your fridge drawer, those carrot tops you've been throwing away for years, suddenly they don't look like waste anymore. They look like opportunities waiting to surprise you in ways most people never discover. While green onions and celery get all the glory, some vegetables hide their regrowing superpowers like kitchen ninjas. Take ginger, for instance. That gnarly root sitting in your fridge, it's basically a sleeping dragon waiting to multiply. Place a piece with visible eyes or buds in moist soil, and within weeks you'll have fresh ginger shoots sprouting up like tiny green swords. The cool part is, you can harvest pieces of the root while the plant keeps growing. It's like having a renewable ginger bank account. Then there's garlic. And no, not the disappointing store-bought stuff that's been treated to prevent sprouting. If you're lucky enough to get garlic that starts sprouting green shoots, don't toss it. Plant those cloves and watch magic happen. Each clove becomes a whole new bulb over time. The green shoots, they're called garlic scapes, and they taste like mild garlic mixed with chives. Chefs pay premium prices for these things. But here's where it gets weird. Carrot tops will fool you completely. Everyone expects to regrow the orange root part, right? Well, that's not happening. The carrot itself is done for good, but those feathery green tops, they'll regrow like nobody's business when you place the carrot top in water. These greens taste like a cross between parsley and, well, carrots. Perfect for garnishes or adding to soups when you want to sound fancy. Beet and turnip tops pull the same trick, except their regrown greens actually taste better than the original vegetable. Seriously. While the roots sit there being all earthy and polarizing, the leaves come back sweet and tender. Great for salads or sautéing with garlic. The regrowth happens fast too. Sometimes you'll see new leaves within 3 days of placing the cut tops in water. Let's not forget mushrooms, because apparently they didn't get the memo about being fungi instead of vegetables. Remove the cap, keep the stem, and place it in humid conditions like under a damp paper towel. Some varieties will actually regrow smaller mushrooms from the original stem. It doesn't work with every type, but when it does, it feels like you've cracked some secret botanical code. And the weird part is how herb stems become the overachievers of the regrowing world. Basil, cilantro, mint, just about any soft-stemmed herb will develop roots when placed in water on a sunny windowsill. The trick is changing the water every few days and being patient. Once those white roots appear, transfer to soil, and you've got a full herb garden from what would have been compost. Most people walk past these scraps daily without realizing they're throwing away future harvests. The success rate varies, sure, but the investment is literally zero. You're using stuff that was headed for the trash anyway. Speaking of zero investment with maximum potential, wait until you discover what happens when you start with actual seeds and fruit scraps. That's where the real magic begins to unfold. Starting from seed scraps might sound like gardening wishful thinking, but some of the most rewarding regrowth happens when you save those seeds everyone else tosses in the trash. Tomato seeds are absolute champions here. Next time you slice a tomato, scrape out those slimy seeds instead of washing them down the drain. Rinse them clean and let them dry on a paper towel for about a week. Plant them in soil, keep them moist, and within 2 weeks you'll see tiny green shoots pushing through. These aren't wimpy plants either. They often grow stronger than store-bought seedlings because they're already adapted to your local conditions. Peppers work the same magic but faster. Those white seeds inside bell peppers or hot chilies, pure gold. They germinate in just 7-10 days and grow like crazy indoors. The weird part is that pepper plants from kitchen scraps often produce more fruit than expensive nursery plants. Maybe it's because they haven't been pampered their whole lives. Then there's the avocado pit situation. Everyone's tried this one, right? Stick toothpicks in that brown pit and suspend it over water. Most people give up after 2 weeks when nothing happens. But here's the secret nobody mentions. Avocado pits are basically testing your patience. They can take anywhere from 2 to 8 weeks to crack open and sprout roots. The successful ones look dead for weeks before suddenly exploding with growth. Once that root appears, the stem shoots up fast enough that you can almost watch it grow. Let's not forget about pumpkin and squash seeds, which are criminally underused. After carving jack-o'-lanterns or cooking butternut squash, those big flat seeds aren't just for roasting. Plant them directly in soil, and they'll produce massive vines by next season. One carved pumpkin can give you 10 pristine new plants if you save and plant every seed. That's potentially hundreds of pounds of squash from what most people throw away. But the real speed demons are microgreens grown from leftover seeds. Got old radish seeds in your spice drawer, broccoli seeds that expired? Toss them on damp soil or even wet paper towels. Within 5 days, you'll have tender, flavorful microgreens that cost $4 per ounce at fancy grocery stores. They're packed with more nutrients than full-grown vegetables and taste incredible on sandwiches or salads. The beauty of seed-based regrowth is the multiplication factor. One tomato gives you dozens of seeds. Each seed becomes a plant that produces dozens more tomatoes. It's like having a vegetable money printer that runs on kitchen scraps and water. And unlike root regrowth that gives you one new plant, seeds can create an entire garden from a single piece of fruit. Well, seeds are just the beginning of maximizing your regrowth potential. Once you master these basics, there are advanced techniques that can turn your kitchen scraps into a year-round food production system that barely costs anything to maintain. Once you've mastered the basics, the real magic happens when you start thinking like a veteran gardener. Rotation becomes your secret weapon. Instead of harvesting all your green onions at once, cut only what you need from each container. This way, you'll have a steady supply while the others keep growing. Your kitchen counter turns into a production line that never stops. But here's where most people mess up. They throw away perfectly good growing water. That cloudy water your green onions have been sitting in, pure liquid gold for your other plants. It's packed with nutrients that would normally go down the drain. Same goes for pasta water, rice water, even the water you use to rinse vegetables. Your regrown plants will thank you, and your water bill will too. The weird part is how many vegetables actually prefer indoor living year-round. While your neighbors are complaining about frost killing their outdoor gardens, you're harvesting fresh herbs from your windowsill in December. Basil doesn't care if it's snowing outside when it's sitting in your sunny kitchen, neither do your green onions or celery. Indoor growing means you control everything. Temperature, water, light. No pests, no weather disasters, no excuses. Let's not forget the power of productive failure. Carrot top that didn't quite make it? Don't toss it in the trash like a quitter. Chop it up and throw it in your compost bin or directly into the soil of your other plants. Even failed scraps become fertilizer for your next success. It's like getting a participation trophy that actually does something useful. Then there's the sweet potato trick that sounds too good to be true. When your sweet potato starts sprouting those green shoots called slips, each one can become an entirely new plant. One sweet potato from the grocery store can potentially give you dozens of new plants. Just twist off each slip when it's about 6 inches tall, root it in water for a week, then plant it. Each slip grows into a full sweet potato vine that produces multiple potatoes underground. And the weird part is how this becomes addictive. You start seeing every vegetable scrap as potential. That onion that's getting soft, perfect for regrowing. Those herb stems you usually toss, future herb gardens. Even your friends start bringing you their kitchen scraps because they know you'll turn them into something useful. The best part about advanced regrowing is the compound effect. Your first green onions regrow in a week. Your celery takes 2 weeks. Your herb cuttings take 3 weeks to establish strong roots. But once everything hits its rhythm, you're harvesting something fresh almost daily. Your grocery trips get shorter because half your produce section is already growing on your counter. Smart growers also keep a rotation journal. Nothing fancy, just notes about what you started when and what worked best. After a few months, you'll spot patterns. Maybe your basil roots faster in spring water than tap water. Perhaps your celery grows better near the east window than the south one. Your kitchen scraps just became your most reliable grocery store, one that never closes and never runs out of fresh produce.